Hi everyone, my name is Daniel and welcome back to Born Poor Die Rich. And I thought in this video, I just wanted to share for those of you who may not have already known that I founded Born Poor Die Rich really with the goal to educate people in financial mastery, both in terms of saving as well as investing so that they can achieve their life goals. And I thought, as Singapore exits the circuit breaker period, how does life after COVID going to be different? And the first thing I want to say is, if you're going to live life exactly the same way as you have before COVID, I don't think we would have been very good stewards of the time. It's almost like a forced sabbatical that we had to take. So, hi guys, thanks for joining us. I can see some of you joining us live. Welcome. And I think COVID has really given us this huge shakeup in our life, and the way we think about managing, stewarding our money, our resources, in the way we save and invest has to, drastically change. And I actually saw this video. I'm not sure if some of you have already seen it. I think it was going viral on TikTok about rice and the analogy of rice, and how it measures wealth. So take a look at this video. I'm going to share that with you on this stream right now. It's quite funny. One dude decided to say, okay, let's, and it's quite funny to me in terms of COVID, because everybody is going out to hoard rice, right? But what are some lessons we can draw from rice in terms of managing money? So let's watch this video together. So this is 100,000, which is 1 grain of rice. And he said, what is 1 million? What does 1 million look like? Oh, there it is, 10 grains of rice. What about a billion? How many millions are there? There's 1,000 millions in a billion. And that is a lot of rice, isn't it? But if you think about it, in a typical Asian family, right, I'm sure we get through this amount of rice in a week. Yeah. But at the same time, yeah, it's just showing how much rice there is. So somebody who's a billionaire and he's picking out 3 grains of rice here, what does this really show us? It's telling us that, this guy might have bought a Lamborghini, for example, and it cost him 3 grains of rice. All right. At the same time, there's still so much of his wealth. This could be someone buying a luxury house costing 100 million or whatever, and look at that, not a single dent to his wealth, right? So I think that's the really what I'm trying to share here in this video is what I glean, lessons I glean from this book. It's called Stop Acting Rich and Start Living Like a Millionaire. And if you haven't already watched this book, it's by Thomas, not watched the book, you haven't already read this book, it's by Thomas Stanley. And it's a fantastic, fantastic book that I would highly recommend that you read. And I think learning the lessons from this book really changed my life. So for example, if you look at millionaires that we typically know, Mark Zuckerberg, he drives like a 30,000 car, and the only time he changed his car was when his car broke down and he had no choice. Warren Buffett, it's very famous, right? He still lives in the same house that he bought for 30,000 back in 1958. And Bill Gates, wears a $10 watch. And I see even a Singapore example in Chan Chun Sing, right? He continues to wear his Casio watch. And I think that's really the mark of a good steward of wealth, right? Where, even if your income level goes up, you don't necessarily need to keep up with the Joneses, as people say. And a lot of times, growing up, I also have that feeling like, oh, if somebody buys a bigger car, maybe I should as well. Buy a branded car, a bigger car, travel, go to different places, buy branded stuff. And for the ladies, I'm sure there's the lure of bags and all that. But at the end of the day, I think the important thing we need to ask ourselves is, does that define who we are? Is there really a need for us to do that? And coming out of COVID, I think it's also a useful time to think about what is essential and what is non-essential. And I think the government has specified that very clearly, right? So question for everyone, bubble tea, essential or not? So I mean, just a joke, but obviously we know that it probably is not an essential service. But jokes aside, what are other things in our life that we spend monies on, that perhaps has also captured our minds, captured our hearts, that we're chasing after. But these are things that, ultimately, even after we have got it, will not satisfy us in our heart. And then we just chase after the next thing, the next bigger car, upgrade from your house from a HDB to a condo, and then maybe a bigger condo. Does it really satisfy you? Right. So this book, once again, talks about stop acting rich and start living like a millionaire. And I also love this quote, right? I'm going to share this with you. Too many people buy things they don't need with money they don't have to impress people they don't even, and I think you can't see this here, they don't even like. And I think that's the scary thing, right? If we live our lives unintentionally, who are we really trying to impress? And do these things define us, or are we laser focused, laser clear on our purpose in life? Who are the people that are, really important to us, right? So I think that's one big thing in Born Poor Die Rich that we are. Our philosophy is, how can we live lives of purpose that, even though the word rich, gives people the idea that we want to accumulate wealth, but really money is merely a means to an end. And if we are wise about our money, perhaps we don't even need that much money in order to live wealthy lives. So I just want to end this quick video with a story about a fisherman. He was sitting by the sea, and he was just fishing, having a nice cup of tea, and this businessman came over. He said, "I graduated from an MBA. What are you doing here, sitting by the beach?" And then the fisherman replied him and said, "Oh, I've fished for the day. I've caught enough fish for my family, so I'm just sitting here enjoying the sunset and having my tea." And the guy says, "Oh man, you're just too lazy. I have an MBA, a background in business. This is what you need to do. You need to go out and fish harder so that you can get more fish and you can sell. And with the money that you can get better fishing rods, better fishing apparatus, get more fish, go deeper waters, get bigger fish, and you can sell for even more money." All right. And then it doesn't end there, right? You can buy, once you save enough money, you can buy a fishing boat, go to deeper waters, you can get even more fish. Then you can hire people, build a factory, sell the fish. You can be a wholesaler, a distributor of fish. And then the fisherman looked at him and said, "Why would I want to do that?" The business said, you don't get it. Obviously, you do all this so that you can, relax. You can, sit down by the beach, have a drink, watch the sunset, enjoy life. And the fisherman looked at the businessman and told him, "But wait a minute, isn't that what I'm doing right now?" And I think this little story never fails to amaze me, and also reminds me of, that perhaps the best things in life perhaps don't cost that much. And people ask me, if how is life different in COVID? How is life different now that I've invested and started to get some passive income? Well, actually, maybe things like I choose to send my daughter to school or pick my daughter up from school and design my life in a way that allows me to do that. And, in the times where pre-COVID, I would ask my daughter, "Do you prefer that Papa drives or Papa takes the bus?" And she'll say, "Oh, can you take the bus? Because then we can hold hands together." Because if I'm driving, she's just sat at the back, right? But if you're on the bus, there's that journey. And I think, ultimately it's really about having clarity on what defines us, what is important to us in life, so that we can truly be wealthy. So I hope this video has been helpful for you. If so, please subscribe to our channel on Born Poor Die Rich, and we'll see you in the next video. Post your comments, your questions, your reflections after this. Maybe a last question for all of you who have been tuning in is, what truly defines wealth to you? I would love to hear your comments. So please share that, and let's have a chat in the chat box below. Cheers.